Hey guys, Ace Twilight here. Today I want to talk about, first off, let me start by saying I apologize. I am not going to be editing this video. I don't have any type of PC currently to edit um edit on, and today I want to talk about three different death battles. I think the guys at Death Battle, aka Screw Attack, they do an amazing job on these fights, right? And there's a lot of fights that I can't agree with, but there's a lot of fights that I don't agree with. I think that they don't go like fully watch like a lot of things. Like they don't watch everything. I think they do go over what they do know, but other times they just research. That's it, you know. They claim to take each character from their strongest point in time and put them in death battles with other people or characters. And sometimes I don't think they do. The first one being Gaara versus Toph. Okay. Now, mind you, all these characters I'm an extremely huge fan of. Also, I'm gonna be playing a little bit of the Binding of Isaac. So I might be on autopilot. So if I start dying a lot or whatever, then you know why. But because I'm technically autopiloting. But I'm just gonna go over things off the top of my head. I know there's other channels out there that probably debunk a lot of this stuff, but I just want to start by saying the Gaara versus Toph fight strongly disagree with. Now, I'm a huge Avatar: The Last Airbender fan, and Toph was one of my favorite characters, right? Because she was always like the comedic person she had sarcastic humor, right? Sokka was the one that had like I wouldn't say boring because a lot of people they love dad jokes, right? Um, let's do an eat and run. Um, he was the one that had like dad humor. I swear Toph had my kind of humor, which was sarcastic humor, right? And by the way, anybody playing Binding of Isaac, this is my seed currently. Um, we have great everything except for tears rate. Okay, but before I start playing and go into autopilot because I suck since I have ADHD at doing both, I just want to go a little bit over the Toph fight. So if you're just here to watch the gameplay, then and you don't care about my discussion or whatever, then feel free to fast forward till I start playing. But I just want to say that Toph, they put Toph on a pedestal to where she was like an omnipotent god, right? To where she was like an android from Dragon Ball Z. Toph is literally a human, and she's a child, right? So I understand she's an earthbender, so she stays moderately active, but she has a limitation, right? She has a limit until eventually her actual stamina runs out, you know? She's been easily captured before, by earthbenders, even before she created metal bending, right? Toph can basically use her bare feet to detect vibrations in the earth to give her like I guess you could say vision. And I what do they call it? Finger quote? Whatever. Um, and that's understandable. However, Toph cannot see at all on sand. Okay? She's even stated it. Oh, my alarm's going off right now. I gotta turn that off. Toph cannot see on sand. Okay? Hence, when Appa was getting captured while Aang, Katara, and Sokka were in the that temple of knowledge that was sunken below the sand, she could not see who she was shooting sand at, and that's when she apologized to Appa, and just said, "I'm sorry. There's not much I can do. Like I have to hold this whole temple up while and she didn't really hold it up because it was sinking even while she had it like she had a grip on it. I was trying to think of the word to use, right? So it was slowly sinking while she was trying to hold it up with earthbending. Okay? Now, that just goes to show just how weak Toph is, okay? If she struggled to hold a entire like palace up, you have to like realize Gaara is strong enough to create a sand tsunami, okay? A tsunami. What is a tsunami compared to a palace? Okay? That is a lot of sand. Now, here's the thing. Toph can either that's if she can even see the sand in the air, right? Because when Gaara fought Kimimaro, the sand was stretching from the ground. On top of that, he could rain sand from the sky on Kimimaro and trap him in his place. Okay? Gaara technically has the same ability as Toph to where he can, I wouldn't say necessarily sense vibrations in the earth, but he can use chakra to detect what is underneath the ground. Hence, when he buried Kimimaro like thousands of feet underground, right? And Rock Lee was like, hey, like, I think you were done. Like, there's no way he's surviving that, right? Gaara could sense that he was still alive before he went into his second curse form, right? And said, no, it's not enough, you know? And that's when he completely solidified everything underneath the ground into like hard rock. And yeah. How another thing I wanted to go over too is the fact that we're supposed to take both characters from their strongest points in time. I don't remember when the Death Battle came out, but I'm pretty sure it came out way after the Legend of Korra, right? Technically speaking, Toph's strongest would have been probably when she was police chief captain, right? But there's not enough data to back up like how strong she was. And I want to say that there's a lot of debate, right? I'm pretty sure people could come up with a reason to argue, like say, oh, well, what about like iron, like in your blood? Technically, Toph could like bend like the iron in your blood, kind of like how Magneto uses magnets. Like, okay, we've never seen it. I'm not ruling that type of stuff out, but realistically speaking, if we're taking both characters from their strongest points, a lot of people will argue, okay, Gaara was a lot stronger without Shukaku. I beg to fucking differ, and pardon my language, right? Gaara was a lot stronger with the Shukaku, and his strongest point, in my opinion, would have been when he was, I want to say fighting, not Madara, Deidara, right? Because he still had Shukaku, and he was a lot older. Now, I want to compare Gaara to Naruto. Naruto, before he even became Hokage, like after the whole like Shippuden arc, there was a movie, right? Where Hinata got kidnapped, yada yada yada, by this guy. I think his name was Inari or something like that, and he wanted to marry Hinata, and he kidnapped her, etc., etc. Okay, now they went over this in one of their death battle fights and said that Naruto's base chakra around that time was strong. Just his base chakra, that is without the QB, right? His base chakra was strong enough to almost blow up the entire moon. Okay. Now add a tailed beast into the mix. That is a lot of power. If Toph can't even carry a palace that is sinking out of the ground like it's nothing, let's be realistic. How is she going to compare to like Gaara's base chakra, considering that he was pretty much Kage before Naruto was Hokage, right? Gaara was a lot. Well, that's debatable. Some would say no. But here's the thing. Gaara had the One Tails, which was the weakest out of all the Tail Beast. Naruto had the strongest, which was Kyuubi, right? If we would take both of them out of the mix, technically Gaara, I would say probably would have been strong, if not as strong, probably even stronger. Hence why he became Kazekage first, right? There is a lot of character development on Naruto's side since he's the main character, as to where Gaara, there's not that much, okay? Now, um, what's my next point? I'm sorry, guys. I'm doing this all off the top of my head. Another thing I want to say is that in that death battle, they didn't really use the One Tails to fight because we never really got to see Gaara control One Tails. He never reached the stage Naruto did and Killer Bee did, but we never got to see like playing possum where Toph would fight the One Tails. Because I promise you this, she's not surviving against the One Tails. Okay. Another thing about Shinobi is just because Gaara uses sand doesn't necessarily mean that he's not a ninja, bro. Like he can still use other like elements technically, even though we've never seen him. Technically, he can, just like how Naruto uses water style and earth style now, right? Um, we haven't really seen Gaara fight in the Boruto arc, except against the Otsutsuki, which is technically in the movie and in the first like season, but I'm not gonna go into that. That's too much. My last point about Gaara, I would say, would be another thing that they didn't include in the fight is that Gaara, well, they did for like a little bit, but Gaara can fly on sand. Okay, Toph can only sense vibrations in the earth that her feet are connected to. Anything else, she is not going to see. Technically, if anything happens to her feet, she's fucked. Okay, pardon my language. Gaara can literally stay suspended in the sky, right? And Toph wouldn't be able to see him at all. She would not be able to see any attacks coming from her. So Gaara technically could be flying in the air. She wouldn't know. Be quiet as a church mouse. Literally create a kind of like how the third Kazekage had iron sand. He would turn the sand into like weapons and stuff. Gaara could technically create like a giant like spike or use sand bullets to literally shoot at Toph from the sky. She would not see it coming and she'd be dead, plain and simple. Okay, you can't compare two characters, like just because of their feats you can't necessarily compare two characters, especially since like there's different universes. Now, I am going to break this video up into 3 parts because I don't have any type of editing software and I don't want to like speak too much to the point to where my game doesn't or my hard drive doesn't pick up like everything that I'm saying, okay? But what was I saying? The whole Gaara with the sand spear thing, sand bullets, yada yada yada. There are two different universes. You can't compare two different universes. Like my next death battle I want to talk about is the Reverse Flash versus Goku Black, right? That is a huge, entirely different fight, bro. Like I understand how fast the Flash is, okay? But the fact that he can run fast, and that's another fight. We'll leave that for the next topic. But I strongly disagree with that fight because it could go both ways. It's a neutral fight, in my opinion. It's not a one-sided fight because a lot of people like misjudge how like the scaling of Dragon Ball Z characters. Another thing that Death Battle will do is they will literally compare the greatest feats of a character and be like, oh yeah, that means that all their like base stats are on that type of monumental scale, right? And that's wrong. And they actually do that. And nobody can really argue that they don't do that. Um, but that's going to be the next fight I talk about. But going back to this one, I strongly think Gaara wins this fight. There's some people that could probably say, "Oh, it could be a neutral fight where both of them can win. It depends on the scenario." Like, bro, there's a lot that could be said about that then. Like, both characters don't know the other character's weaknesses. The thing that Gaara like has behind his belt that also like if you're saying Toph is like stamina-less, like she doesn't run out of stamina like androids do. Like no. Toph is a little child. Okay. She has limits. And the thing is, Gaara has been in a lot more fights. Well, I mean, we don't see them, but I'm pretty sure he's been in a lot more fights, considering that he was especially in a war, right? Um, and there's a lot of debate about that too. Like, oh, well, that's after he lost the One Tails, blah blah blah. It doesn't matter. Um, the fact that Gaara can literally fly on sand and shoot a projectile from the sand that's in his gourd straight at Toph and kill her and she wouldn't see it coming. And you can't tell me she would see it coming because she can't see it coming when it's airborne. I literally watched a clip the other day when Sokka, like after Appa got stolen, after that whole scene, right? There were these giant like flying insects that were chasing after Sokka and them when they were in the cave. And Katara had to like keep her hands on Toph and tell her exactly where to throw her boulders. Okay, because she couldn't see the insects that were flying, and even like though their like wings were extremely loud, she couldn't like land a shot without Katara's help. So the fact that Gaara can fly on sand, she can't see any airborne projectiles because she couldn't see those insects, and the fact that she wouldn't be able to land a shot on anything airborne without help lets me know that Toph straight up loses this fight altogether. It a lot of times it doesn't matter how like big or how monumental like your greatest achievement is in situations where like strategy comes into play. Why do you think Batman could literally defeat everybody in the Justice League? Because he knows all of their weaknesses, but he doesn't have any superpowers. It doesn't matter. Strategy wins over everything. That's why I also didn't agree with Obi-Wan versus Kakashi, but I'm not going to get into that fight. Because that one, a lot of people would just argue, oh, he could literally just use fucking. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan. I've seen a lot of Star Wars stuff, though. He could use, like telekinetic, like, choke ability to just choke Kakashi out. But the thing is, Kakashi's smart as shit. He never puts his actual character out on the field like that without knowing his opponent's like abilities and weaknesses. Okay, he's also fought against Pain that had a telekinetic ability technically, which was Almighty Push and Pull. But I'm not gonna go into that fight, right? Anyway, um, I kind of do though. Kakashi like thinks like 7 moves ahead. Like that's the only way like Guy is able to like fight against the like on par with him is because Guy thinks like so many moves ahead, and when he's fighting, he's able to like kind of guide his opponent like almost as if it was a dance, right? To where he knows every move you're about to make before you do it because of the way that he's positioning his body when he attacks you. You know, your body can only react a certain way or else you're going to get hit. Okay. So technically a guy is playing I wouldn't say reverse psychology. He's just like playing with his opponent at that point. But anyway, that's gonna conclude the first video. Let me know, whoever watches this, in the comment section. What do you guys think? You know, maybe there's a flaw in my discussion, you know? Maybe you have like a very like key point that I missed, you know? Because I don't remember everything. Sorry about that. My mic turned off. Um, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. If I missed something, because I don't remember exactly every single thing. I've watched both shows from start to finish, but there might be something I forgot. Okay. But yeah, just let me know. I appreciate anybody who's watched to the end. And then the next video, I'm gonna actually start playing Isaac. So sorry for those who just came here just to watch Isaac. But love you guys. Take care.